Right, we're back. Cool. Hang on. We've moved from cow to nut now. This one is a cool one.
It is a nice one.
Especially randomly it gets quite a lot of streams, and I don't know why.
Yeah, that was weird, that, wasn't it? Yeah, it became our most streamed or second most streamed song on that album for ages. I mean, it still is, isn't it? Oh, it might have changed now.
It's not the lowest.
Yeah.
It is, but
that's just bizarre, that. Don't know. Weird. Fun.
Yeah, but this one... So originally those two were the same song, and it was a really long song, and then we split it up. That's why the previous episode, Tom was like, should we talk about it? But we won't, because we want more.
Because we are leeches, and we will milk this for all it's worth.
But the name of it, the Fatalist, was really to allude to the Catalyst and kind of bookend that. I love the ambient bit of this track. It was a lot of fun to put that together, because it was just me kind of plonking on keyboards, and then you added a lot of percussion stuff in there.
A load of ambient stuff, yeah.
But the guitar in this bit...
that bit. Oh, yeah.
I basically made the weird ambient guitar. I took one of my really old ones, and I put a load of cardboard underneath the strings that they lifted them up. I basically made a lap steel guitar, and I just took a bottle. I just made a load of weird noises and recorded it, and that's what's in the thing.
It
with
works.
A load of reverb and stuff. But the string, I remember when we got to this song, because we were going to do this as one track, Collapsing Reality, and it went straight into this. It used to just be the ambient bit and went into the last section. But we really wanted it to be 5 songs. And I remember writing this entire string bit in like 2 hours. Because it just all just flowed really, really well. But when it comes in, it's taking the sweepy bit from Collapsing Reality and slowing it down loads, and then reharmonizing all the notes in it. And making that really beautiful string thing.
Yeah. It also alludes to all the other rhythms.
Yes, so it goes
well, doesn't it?
It goes from Collapsing Reality to Negotiation, with the main riff from that, and then it goes to Reactionary, then the beginning riff of, like the beginning piano bit of Denial, and then that's when that string section ends.
That's when the timps come in, which is the best bit of the whole album.
It was good. I think it was a good way to kind of bookend the album and bring it back to the point of that song, which was acceptance within the stages of grief.
Yeah.
And it finishes with the riff from the end of the Catalyst, because the Catalyst is kind of, as the name suggests, the catalyst for the album. So I guess that initial 2-album thing still is in there, where you had the first half and the second half, but it wasn't as grandiose as initially.
Yeah, only the diehard fans will fully know and notice and understand the lore.
Yeah. There's big stories behind DBD.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I was really happy when we finished this. Like the way we did the first 4 songs, this kind of again bookended a lot of tracks that I'd been working on for a long time.
And we also did that. Well, there's a sort of a nice sort of story behind the strings that we recorded behind that, isn't there? We got a couple of very, very, very good string players, but because it was lockdown, we had to just sort of give them a brief and hope to God that they had a decent sort of recording thing. And I remember one of them saying, like, would it be alright if I record it through my iPad? I was like, sure, yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah. Luckily it came out not too bad, actually. It came out really well.
I really liked the original version, because we had to auto-tune some stuff to fit with it. Because we wanted to make it a lot bigger, so it could fit with the pads underneath and the virtual instrument. But there was something about the original version where there was no auto-tune in it. It was like microtonal.
Yeah.
I thought it sounded really cool to me.
There was also I thought it sounded cool as well, but I remember as well there was also a problem with, because we didn't have a good way of transferring projects to each other, at least at the time, or at least we didn't know how to do it. There was no proper click tracks that I could send at the time. So I had to come up with one, which was literally going along bit by bit, putting the click in, and hoping that it was at the right time before I sent it over to them. Because otherwise, they would have had no way of knowing where the hell they were going to play. No, that was a fun moment of recording all that, which was
it was really
nice. It was.
It was like that was meant to be in the track because of how quickly it just appeared on the computer and came together. I remember doing the solo for the end, the final solo, and because I'd recorded Collapsing Reality and this at the same time. I was like, how do I make this one different from all the other solos? So I stood up in my room and just pressed play and was like, let's go. And so that solo is one take, I'm pretty sure. It was just like, let's just do something where you're feeling it. And that riff, though, in that section was a riff that's been lying around for ages. And it was initially in Countdown, which was the next song.
Is that the clean section? Yeah. You mean? You're right.
But that was initially the beginning riff of Countdown.
Right.
So that's why it was two albums, because it started with that riff and then it went and finished with that riff. But then I put it into the Catalyst instead. So I guess we kind of do still have that with the Catalyst EP and Stages to Osiris. It's just kind of presented differently. Do you want to talk about how we came up with the name?
From how I recall it, I was at Leeds at the time. This was during lockdown, and I was stuck there at my friend's house, and you rang late night one day.
Because we needed to finish the album was recorded and we needed a name. And I didn't want to call it Orion because I thought that it worked for the titles of the songs because it didn't explain the point of the album. Because again, as I mentioned previously, it didn't really have much context to the concept. So I remember us on Zoom for a while and we were just looking through loads of random stuff for absolutely ages at like anything to do with Orion that could work with this.
From what I remember is I just threw out to everyone who was around me and just said like, look, think of cool space names or think cool space stuff. Just throw me some ideas.
What we landed on was Osiris is the god of, and it was the stages to get to me.
Yeah.
It sounds so simple when you get to that, but we were spending absolutely ages to think of that title.
Who was it that came up with that in the end? I have a feeling that it was someone I was with, and they just came out with Osiris, and you kind of went, okay, now that's cool, and you went away, and then you came back and went, Stages to Osiris. Does that sound cool? Like Stages to Death? I think that's how it happened. Someone just randomly just went, Osiris. That's cool. And then you went, okay, there's something there.
There's obviously ways I've written the songs, and there's been driving force behind it, but a listener could come along, not know what the concept is, and come up with their own idea of what it all is, you know. This one was the hardest one to think of the name for, I think, though. The others were okay.
Naming this song? Or the album?
An album.
Oh. Yeah.
But I guess the next episode will be on about
the next album.